Hey, and welcome to the Coming Strength and Fitness Fitcast. I'm Jill, coach and owner of CS&F, and I'm here along with my team to take your fitness experience to a new level. In each episode, we'll bring you helpful conversations with our coaches, members, and guests to provide additional value to your gym experience and understanding to our mission at CS&F to change lives through fitness. Hope you enjoy the episode. Answer if you ask the $100 question will be an ice pack, and then I'll say, what's been your experience with an ice pack?
Okay, we got to rock and roll.
Yeah, it was a chemical ice pack that I fell asleep. And here's how stupid I am. I fell asleep, and this was pre-COVID, so I was doing 2-a-days, and I come in here, and we get on the bike, and I'm like, and I had hurt my shoulder pretty well. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to do the workout, but I'm just going to move it, see what's up. And I get on the bike, and I'm like, man, that's weird. Get off, get in the car. And as soon as I sit in the car, and I didn't know it, there were these massive water blisters, like these boils. And one was on my shoulder. And so when I sat back, I was like, it popped. And I was like,
oh, my gosh.
And I was like, wow, what was that? Like, that's weird. And then I'm driving home, and now I start to feel the
down your
ooze
back.
Down the back. So I get home.
Oh, my gosh.
So I get home, and I take my shirt off, and it sticks. And I'm like, okay, I've had enough injuries. Not good. Turn and I look in the thing, and I was like, oh god, like it's like everywhere. And so I'm pretty dumb when it comes to like I don't go to doctors much. So I got up against the wall, and I was living by myself at the time. And I have my kids every other week for the full week. Well, they weren't with me that week, so I was like, you know what, to hell with this. And I just kind of threw myself against the wall and just to pop them.
Oh my gosh.
So then I come in here, and the following day, the 9:30 women are amazing, by the way. And they were just like, oh my gosh, what have you done? What's wrong with you?
What did you do?
I remember Jill being like, Brandon, this isn't good.
This is not a good
Are you okay?
Yeah,
they're like, you need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe.
You need some cream.
You need some cream.
So that's when I come back to the 5:30, and Doc's like, yeah, we need to use this silver something or other. He's like, just let's go put some of that on there. And so I went out and got some. And
what you didn't know, Brandon, is that's the opening story to this episode
that's
right
fine.
now.
Oh, excellent. Oh, we're recording.
We've already been recording. So
Okay.
That's a good opener.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
everyone, I hope you appreciated that amazing
Don't ice too long.
ice blister Brandon Allen story. We have a guest on the episode, Brandon Allen. He's new to the pod, but not new to the CS&F world. And we have Jill in the studio. Jill, how are we doing?
Doing great.
Brandon, how's your day going?
Amazing.
We're here in an episode.
We're here. Look, I say it all the time. I'm on this side of the daisies, right? Mm-hmm. Sun is shining. And
sun is shining.
We're great.
This is not the first time you've actually been on a podcast, though.
That is correct.
You have at least a couple under your belt at this point.
We do. I think my former college roommate and I have a podcast called The Mental Advantage, and we're actually later today recording episode 72 or 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple.
Give them a follow, y'all.
Exactly.
Give them a listen.
So, shameless plug. Brandon, quickly, before we get into you, give us the 60-second shameless plug of that.
So both of us were former college athletes, and we coming through, there's so many challenges as a college athlete. Like there's so many challenges from, going from being the dude at your high school who's now going to play, Division I, and now you've got a college or a team full of dudes. And then really, how do you handle that adversity? How do you reset yourself? How do you kind of level, set yourself? And then more importantly now, especially, how do you, as we try to put content out there from clinicians and former players and Navy SEALs and operators and stuff like that, one of the big things is I'm not Brandon the baseball player. I'm Brandon who happens to play baseball. And so there's a huge identity crisis on the mental side of things as you get out. And oddly enough, it really kind of plays well into how I got into CrossFit and things of that nature.
And we're going to get into that.
Absolutely.
The mental advantage. Check it out, guys.
For sure.
That's awesome. Jill, I asked you before we started recording if you could come up with a fun question to get us started. Do you have one?
You know how fun I can be, but I did get a question. It's one of my favorites from Tim Ferriss.
From Tim Ferriss, okay.
What's the last thing you bought in the last 12 months that was under $100 that was an amazing purchase?
That most changed your life? Joe, you go with yours first because
well,
I'm thinking.
I was showing you a picture of it earlier. It's called the Magic Pack or
Magic Pack.
Magic Pack or Magic Ice. It was something. So,
One of the two.
I need to ice or, speaking of your icing situation,
Right.
or heat my back from time to time. And it's this thing, it's like a weight belt almost, and it has a freezer pack and a heat pack. And you wrap it around your back, and it's Velcro, and you can walk around with it. You don't have to sit on your heating pad. It's
wow.
portable ice and heat.
Wow.
And you just wrap it up and go.
That's a really good
And
one.
you good.
That's a great
The
one.
Magic Portable
They
Ice
sell it on
Heat
Amazon.
Pack.
It is amazing.
Everything's sold on Amazon.
Yeah, they don't miss.
They don't miss.
Yeah.
The first one that came to my mind is my eye mask. That it's $17.99. That's
Your
changed my life. It's not my cucumbers, but pretty much. Both Hannah and I wear one to bed now, and we know that when the eye mask goes on, it is lights out, no talking. It is bedtime.
Man,
But
that's bougie though. And do you really need to worry about under like bags at the age of 22 or
Not quite
whatever?
yet.
Yeah.
He's
I
not
haven't
there.
even thought about that. This is more just for like, hey, I'm going to sleep.
I envision
That's
it being
cool.
like satin and leopard print.
It is satin.
I knew it. I knew it. Is it leopard print?
Mine's black.
Well, you
Okay.
can't
Purple.
you can't wake up with, wrinkle like it's
Yeah.
to prevent them.
Yeah,
So
right.
mine's easy, and it's funny because it's actually become kind of a running joke with the with Howard and Justin and Doc. We all got bidets right around.
Oh my
No,
God. This
you
is such a funny
didn't.
story, but it's very funny.
So Howard gets a bidet and he recommends it to everybody, and of course we're like, oh yeah, why not? Because this is also during COVID toilet paper shortage or
That is-
whatever.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so
Okay.
there was some practicality behind it, but it has gotten to the point now that if we travel, there could be a text or two where someone will send something and be like, man, I really miss my toilet at home.
Yeah. Home-based toilet. Nothing beats it.
Yes.
Wait, a bidet's under $100?
So the one, again, Amazon, I think we got it for $45.
No,
Alex's
you're
birthday's
kidding.
coming
And
up.
that thing
You're
is
kidding.
a straight sniper. I mean, it.
If you are listening and you want to send me a bidet, I will be your friend forever.
Yeah.
I've never used one, but here's the thing. Everyone who either has one or has used one,
Loves it.
they love it.
It's
They've all
amazing.
been a fan. They're like, you should get one.
And I know if you would have asked me 18 months ago, I would have been like, there's no way. It ain't happening. And I'm telling you now, I am a believer. I got my dad one for Father's Day last year. Yeah.
oh,
and
my
how did Mr. Mike
gosh.
like it?
He liked it because I put kind of a card together and, reference like for you old, fill in the blank.
You old geezer.
Bidet reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
I love it.
hilarious. Brandon, I don't even think I need to ask this because you're painting the picture of Brandon Allen perfectly, but through these elaborate stories. But go ahead and tell us a little bit just about you and your personal life, and then we'll kind of get into your CrossFit journey.
Sure. Yeah. I'll turn 50 this Christmas Eve.
I didn't know we were heading into 50.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were mid-40s.
No, I
Wow.
am so close to being able to maybe compete at something
Yes.
with the age if I can just stay
Yeah.
healthy long enough. But I've got 3 wonderful kids. Marty, who's a member here, she and I live together. Love her to death, and she's got 3 wonderful kids. We've got 4 dogs between us. So I mean, it's
Oh my
basically a
gosh.
zoo at the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, like yesterday for Mother's Day, shout out to all the moms here at CS&F and Happy Mother's Day. But we, it looked like a used car lot in, in the driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
How old are the kids?
So Marty's are 22, 19, and so 23, 20, and 19.
Okay.
And mine are 20, 17, and 14. So I've got two that are one in college and two that are one that's in high school at East Forsyth, and then another one, my son is getting ready to come through as a 9th grader.
And I'm really curious about these 4 dogs. Are they big dogs, small dogs,
so
crazy
I don't
dogs?
see Brandon being a little dog.
So we
have
all right, I got a dog. I kept the dog through the divorce. It was a blue tick hound.
Ooh, I love those.
She's amazing,
Gorgeous.
but she's a whiner. She's a bayer. Well, as kind of dumb luck would have it, I was getting another dog for the kids. That's probably a whole different story, but I'm getting a dog for the kids, and I adopt one up at the Humane Society. I happened to bring it in here, or no, someone had made mention of a couple of dogs, and I showed them a picture, and they were like, "Oh, mine looks just like it." Laura and a couple of other folks happened to have gotten one of the brothers.
Oh.
So we all happened to have gotten a dog of the litter without really knowing it.
Oh, wow.
Or at least I didn't know it.
Sure.
So I found out that there was a sister that was still out there and had been unadopted, and so I went back and picked the sister up for Marty, who in turn basically said, "That's sweet, and now you can keep it."
Thank you for the gesture.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she'll be extremely happy at your house before we moved in together. So we had that one, and then I got Beast, who was an Italian Mastiff, and
my God.
and we had George. We actually had 5 until about 2 months ago, so we had George as well, but George was old, and we had to unfortunately put him down. But so it's kind of nuts.
It's like the Brady Bunch in there, plus pets.
Plus pets.
Yeah.
Plus pets.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, there's not a dull moment
Never.
at your house.
No.
Or probably quiet much.
And not until about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Brandon, what do you do for a living?
So I'm in sales. We do supply chain technology, right? So
how's that going?
well, it's the supply chain's broken, I think, as everybody knows, but we do like barcoding and wireless infrastructure and things like that. So our clients are more like the BMWs of the world and the Ryder Logistics of the world and
Gotcha.
companies like that.
Gotcha.
And not really the Publix and the proof of or the POS where you're checking out your point of sale stuff. We don't really focus on that. Ours is more industrial, robotics, sensors, stuff
Got
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's cool.
Jill, do you remember the first time Brandon came to the gym?
Yeah,
You do?
totally.
When was that?
He and Jeff Gravett did a competition here.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
What year was that?
Oh, wow.
boy.
That was a long time ago.
That was probably 14,
yeah.
15?
It was a really long time ago.
2014 or 2015?
And I just remember thinking, those are 2 huge dudes.
Those are 2 big guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Because Jeff is 6'4", 215. He's a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
Brandon, what's your stature?
6'1", probably 250.
Yeah.
So 2.
And you had to carry each other in that
We
competition. I
did.
remember.
No
And
way.
Yeah, we did. And poor Jeff. I mean, I remember, and Jeff's an amazing athlete, and I'd known Jeff before getting in here, and that's part of my CrossFit journey. But I do remember we read that, and he looked at me and he was like, "I think you're probably going to have to carry me most of the way." And I was like, "For sure, dude." Like I wouldn't wish me on my worst enemy. Yeah,
Gotta have a plan. Gotta have a
for
plan.
sure.
So you just talk us through your CrossFit experience as far as you did a competition. So you obviously were doing CrossFit before then, but then it obviously intersects with CS&F because you're here.
Right.
Give us the 3 to 5 minute version of your CrossFit story.
So I get done playing sports and kind of did the Globo Gym thing, right? Just stayed healthy, wanted to lift, had gotten into pretty heavy lifting in college.
Where'd you go, by the way?
College of Charleston.
And you played?
So I played
D1
baseball. I did. And so had a great time. A lot of baseball stories. Got to travel a bunch of places. Was definitely probably not the smartest when it comes to managing how my outlook on baseball was and what it was going to afford me. So looking back on it, I was kind of an idiot. But but for sure, loved the game, loved getting into the gym. And we had a great strength and conditioning coach, a guy named Mark McCowan, who leaves us and goes and is and I think he's still with the Utah Jazz in the NBA. So learned a lot about the body. I ask a ton of questions, as you both know, because this stuff really interests me. Get done, start having kids, still coaching, kind of did some of the P90X stuff, met Gravett. He and I, at the time that I meet him, I'm actually doing running. Like I'm running marathons and half marathons and all that. You
don't usually see guys your size
no,
running
so
marathons?
What's funny is actually over 225 they call it a Clydesdale division. Like that's literally what it's called. And so Jeff and I were running local stuff. Jeff's winning races and winning them. I'm having to maybe compete in my division.
Jeff's a good runner for his size.
Yeah.
Jeff has got
and swimmer.
Jeff has got freakishly long strides, and his turnover's really good.
Yeah. And he's a good stamina and endurance.
I was going to say
go.
He can go. He can go. I mean, he's he's
I've done many where
yeah. And so we start doing that. He and I are playing basketball together, and he was like, "Man, why don't you come try CrossFit?" And he's like, and I had a couple of other friends that were at that particular box, and so I went and tried it. And I remember walking in, I had no idea what I was getting into.
None of us did.
Literally no idea. Didn't do any of this stuff that we do here, which I think is invaluable in terms of just kind of ramping and onboarding and learning movements and all that. It was kind of like, hey, we're going to do klepto today. And I thought, right. And I remember thinking, they were introducing it, and it's here, Wad, and I was like, wow, no idea what
your first
any of this
CrossFit workout was that?
Yeah. And I'm like, have no idea what a hero WOD is.
I know 99.9% of hero workouts. What is klepto? I don't know that one.
It's box jump. What it turned into was about 25 minutes of thinking, what are you doing?
As is everybody's first workout.
And on top of it, I distinctively remember doing a box jump in the third or fourth round. And I'm standing on top of the box, and I go to myself, I'm thinking, how can you be in this bad a shape? How in the world can you be in this bad of shape right here, right now? And I finish it. It's in July. I'm soaking wet. The house that I'm living in at the time, the washer and dryer are right when you walk in from the garage.
Just throw it right in.
I was so angry, furious, and it was a top-loading washer, and it had one of those glass panes, and I take my shirt off, which I think weighed about 25 pounds at that point, and I remember just throwing it, and it hits the thing and drops in, and I got in the shower and then basically said, screw this, we're going to figure this thing out.
There's always a choice that happens when someone does their first workout. It's you fall in love with it or you never go back again.
Right, literally.
It's one or the other.
Yeah,
Do you want to know what klepto is?
Yes, please read it.
4 rounds for time, 27 box jumps, 20 burpees, 11 squat cleans, and I feel like we should do this soon.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Oh, my. Wait, you say that one more time?
So it's 4 rounds for time, 27 box jumps.
Okay.
This is when he was thinking about his life choices.
Yep, for sure.
20 burpees. So you're looking at 80 burpees.
Oh, my gosh.
11 squat cleans at 145 and 100 pounds.
Right.
That's a pretty beastly of a first workout.
For sure, and not being efficient at all on the squat clean. I mean, y'all have seen how I lift. I am not the prettiest picture.
You're the Clydesdale division for weightlifting, too.
I am for sure not the guy that you come to for efficiency and mobility.
What are you the guy that we come to for?
I'll encourage the hell out of you.
Yes, he will. He will.
I really, really enjoy people experiencing stuff for the first time or hitting something that they may not have thought was ever possible.
That's the coach in you, Brandon.
I love it. I do. I do love that.
Or if you need a good dance move.
I will dance in the middle of it. But see, what y'all haven't figured out, or maybe you have, that's really just me catching my breath.
That's masked as dancing.
Yeah,
it's really
exactly
Most
right.
people use the chalk bucket for that. He dances.
I'll dance, just anything. Yeah,
that's
for sure.
hilarious. So what was your what was that transition from then until CS&F? How'd you get associated with CS&F?
So I left the other box. Just it wasn't fitting. I think both from a communal standpoint and from the programming piece, it just wasn't the right fit. For sure, my hours in here are some of the happiest that I have. I mean, for me, it's a place that I can mentally check out, enjoy the people, enjoy the community, and it's such an important part. So, for sure, had done some research, knew from the competition that Jill and Hunter had an amazing thing going on over here. And so didn't take a whole lot of convincing, came in, made some friends immediately. That's not super hard for me as a bit of an extrovert. And so just started following in and really became interested in what was going to be the right time slot for me. So, I mean, early on, I bounced around a lot. Like you might see me at 8:30, 9:30, come back at 5:30, may do a noon.
Most times it was twice a day.
A lot early on, pre-COVID, right? And then that stopped just because we had started limiting space and time, and I didn't want to take it you don't take up two
Weird
spots.
times.
Sure.
Weird
Well,
times,
and now everybody thinks that you're available and can do Teams calls and all that. So it's just
different.
I have a question for you, Brandon. Did you know? And we're going to ask you about the meat wagon.
Sure.
What it is. What it entails.
Sure.
But did you know those guys before you came
No,
here?
not at all.
Okay, so you met and
For sure.
formed the Meat Wagon here. Tell us about Meat Wagon. What is that?
Wait, just for clarity before he goes in that, Jill, you're saying meat wagon.
Meat wagon.
As in like chicken, beef, protein.
Meat wagon.
Like a straight up, just a couple of slabs of beef kind of a
couple of slabs of beef.
And now it's just the
straight
wagon,
meat.
right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
Tell us.
So to figure out how it ultimately came about, I think Mark Howard and Justin Cinderstein were working out in the afternoon. Patrick Doc kind of came in. We all started kind of working out. Forgive me, Patrick, for this, but we're all fairly similar body types. I think, heavier athletes, although I would say Patrick is the lightest of all of us. So we were like, you know what?
Let's form a coalition.
We're going to do a coalition because we were going to do a competition at the time, and it was like a 3 or 4 man comp. We bounced some names around. Meat Wagon was something we kind of fell in, and so it just kind of stuck. And so now I think we are. I think folks know, especially in the afternoon, kind of who the Meat Wagon is. I think coaches in the afternoon loathe the Meat Wagon because we definitely. I think if
this coach doesn't.
And you're sweet, but I think I think if you were to ask the Caitlin's or the Laytons of the world, especially Layton early on, what he thought about that 5:30 class, and the class is great. The corner where we stretch and stuff is probably not so great.
They're stretching them? Is that what y'all are doing?
Kind of.
Stretching.
It's different stretching because we are a little older. So when you
Wallering.
it is wallering. So when you ask for us to do certain things, a mountain climber or something like that, it takes some time to
I'm like,
warm
are you
up.
on your back? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's that scorpion mountain climber. Everybody does it.
It's that scorpion mountain climber.
But the
sure.
wagon is also known to be like the most encouraging group of guys in the evening. And they are amazing at that.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I think all of us are former athletes. I think there's something to be said about, if you really truly, and I think you have to, when you're coming in here for 95% of the members, you just got to check your ego at the door. And I think, as a former athlete, I have plenty of stories where the confidence, we'll call it confidence, but probably at the time it was more arrogance. It wouldn't allow for that. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't allow for me to necessarily encourage someone that I'm competing against. Mm-hmm. That just wasn't how I was wired. And so now that didn't mean I didn't want you to go out and try or whatever, but you're going to do you, I'll do me. We'll see who ends up on top at the end of this thing. And so I think as I've gotten older and really as I've learned, I get more out of seeing someone else hit a PR. I mean, my PR days are seriously.
That's a hard realization for an athlete, too.
They're 25 years in the past. I mean, they really are.
And that's okay.
Because the way that I look at it, the reason mine are back there is because I was fortunate enough to do some things at a level that a lot of people weren't. Mm-hmm. And so there's really only one way to go, and it's not up as you get older, right? And so I think coming in, I love looking at the WODs, trying to figure out what
strategy
the point of it is so that I get the stimulus, but maybe I don't redline it all the time. I tell, sexy all the time, like, hey, the smart athlete comes back tomorrow, right?
Not today.
Right.
How are you going to approach DT today? It's DT with pull-ups today. What's your plan? I know you have one.
Y'all have been very, very graceful, and I'm grateful for programming on Macho Man and DT back to back. DT for me and Macho Man as well. Those are
love languages.
Those are. I mean, just hey, it's a bar, it's some chalk, and it's some time, and let's go. So
yes.
Yeah, I'll kind of attack it that way.
One thing that you just like casually went by is just threw the name Sexy in there. That had like, wait, who's Sexy again?
It's Justin.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Bigger question is, what would you tell the aging athlete?
Be smart. Know thyself. Like, really.
That's hard. That's really hard.
It is. It's
hard.
a lot
it's
easier
so easy
said
to
than
say
done.
it, but it is hard.
It is, and I'll say this, and a lot of it, I think you just, as an athlete, the one thing that athletics probably taught me at a very, very young age in how to succeed is you for sure have to be honest with yourself. I mean, if I'm going up against Jill or I'm going up against you in some kind of an athletic endeavor, I better make hay when the sun's shining for me and let you guys do you.
Right.
Because we aren't going to hang out together.
We've got different decades right here. Different
decades, different capabilities, different strengths and weaknesses. And so I think for me, understanding that for an aging athlete, consistency is the most important thing when it comes to quality of life and being healthy. Man, that 5-minute meditation every morning, or the gratitude journal, or coming in here for the hour. I tell people all the time, you won. Like, you walk through the doors, it's a win. Regardless of what you do, even if you just stretch for an hour, you won the day. Like, and that as an athlete, I think is really important, to provide grace to yourself. You don't have to be that person that you were. Just be that best version of you today.
So good.
So as someone who is super competitive,
Right.
They walk in the door, you walk in the door, and you're like, hey, I've been competitive my whole life.
Yeah.
How do you balance the tension between still wanting to compete but still doing what's wise and smart and making the healthy choice?
Time to write a book, Brandon.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it. I will tell you that I still have that competitive fire. In here, I do try to squelch it every once in a while, especially like with drop-ins or something like that. If I catch them watching or they're trying to pace me, then I usually have a problem with that. Like, I'm not a pack mule.
There's a switch.
Like, don't pace on me.
Yeah.
Like, and then, because if you will, then I'll go. But when I say I'll go, that most people can hang. That's not a big deal.
I think you're underestimating yourself a little.
So I would say for me, just understanding, like, hey, I'm not in my 20s anymore. Recovery has been, definitely the biggest difference. And just being graceful, right? Like, just
With yourself and other people.
for sure.
Jill, I bet you could add into that conversation
Sure.
a little bit too, because I mean, you're not, I wouldn't consider an aging athlete, but you're also dealing with your athletic endeavors in a different season right now. What would you add to what Brandon said?
I mean, something that he said earlier on is that identity shift between, I am this ex-athlete to it's a part of who I am, but it's not my full identity.
That's right.
And as you age, you really learn that. Because you can still push the limits with your body. There's going to be different things that happen when you do that. And being smart and being wise with your training and with your recovery and making sure you're listening to your body, because the older you get, the more in tune you get with it. And it talks a lot louder, too.
Oh, yeah.
In the tune of snap, crackle, and pop in the morning. But, yeah, it's just exactly what Brandon said. Is being smart, listening to your body, giving yourself grace. You have to realize that you are not in your 20s. That doesn't mean you're not capable of doing great things. It just means you're not in the same place you were.
For sure, but I love what all the coaches promote here too is okay, so be your best today. Like, if we're going to do, like today, we're going to deadlift and we're going to do, heavier percentages, lower reps, then whatever today's best is, then let's do it. And
might not be a PR, and that's okay.
But that's the definition, at least to me, of competing. Like, as a former athlete, like, how often did I truly ever show up with my A game? Rarely. So how do I give you 100% of my B or C for the betterment of the team? That's competing. Competing's giving you what I got to the best of my ability today.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's, so as a competitive athlete, my games change. My A game and B game change, but I can still come in and give you the best of what I've got today.
That's where it's at.
Would you guys do anything differently in context of this conversation?
From college athlete to CrossFit?
From what you learn now, college athlete, to where you are now, what you know is about the aging athlete, competitive, ego, what would you do differently?
I don't have a whole lot of regrets, if I'm being honest. I mean, like, CrossFit has been my competitive outlet.
Right.
I needed something, and this has been
Would you have done more mobility, more?
Oh, for sure.
Warm-ups, haven't done this, took more time off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but everything has an opportunity cost, right? So what do I forego to get more stretching in or more mobility, and really. Because as an athlete too, you're always negotiating and navigating injuries, seasons, things like that. And so I think I'm always a regret guy. So I love when you say that. I just want to look back, and when it was time, when I got done playing baseball, and I was fortunate enough to play a little after college. When I hung it up, I knew, like, okay, you
that was my last game.
Cue the boys to men, into the road. Here we go.
Yep.
And I've given you everything that I can, and I still love you. right? So, like, I think a lot of athletes leave wherever they're at and they get bitter and they don't.
It's a breakup.
Yeah, and for me, it was like, you know what? You afforded me so much. I'll love you forever for it. I mean, you gave me an education. I got to travel. I've got friends that are, lifetime friends that were teammates that, I got to spend and experience things that so many people didn't get to do. I've got no regrets for that.
None. Maybe the only one I have is not starting CrossFit sooner in my athletic career.
For sure.
I think it would have benefited me a lot.
I think so, but, at least for me, it wasn't even a thing. Like, HIIT workouts were just starting to kind of come about. For sure.
Yeah.
Like, and even that was after I graduated. So, like.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't even an option.
Yeah. I mean, I remember at Charleston, our soccer teams would do HIIT workouts, but it was sports specific. Baseball, we were all core, trunk mobility, hip explosion. I mean, it at that level, everything kind of gets dialed in to be sport specific. Overspeed training was just starting. So bungee cording, parachute running, all that, like we were on the forefront. It was an interesting time for sure. And to see how it's progressed has been amazing.
Man, wouldn't it have been awesome if we had it?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
nobody did. Nobody had an advantage over us.
and the facilities and the science behind it now, I look at that as something that you just try to implement it the best you can. I mean, I'm constantly reading about stuff, and you brought up Tim Ferriss earlier. I mean, as a biohacker, he's got a lot of really interesting thoughts and theories, and I not anywhere near the same, but I'll play with stuff. I've got no problem like playing with nutrition and messing with macros and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't, as you can tell, do a whole lot for me, but it does. I mean, but it, I can figure out how to dial in certain things for certain seasons of my life.
Sure.
Do you guys think CrossFit is a worthwhile endeavor for post-college athletes, people in athletics to pursue?
Oh, without a doubt.
Do you think there's anything in comparison or in the same ballpark?
Yeah, well,
Pickleball.
I mean, what?
Pickleball, hey, fastest growing sport.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It is fun.
Here's what I would say: anything that allows you to have communal suffering, anything.
That's what you miss.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the respect that you then have. I think that's where CrossFit gets it right over everybody else. The power of communal suffering is
unmatched.
Huge.
Yeah.
It is huge, because now all of a sudden, if I know you did it and I did it, and we may have done it differently, but we got through it, my respect for you and yours for me from a team building perspective. I mean, I can tell you from a team building perspective, some of the worst days on the field as it pertained to training and running and sprinting, to the point that you're taking your spikes off and asking to run barefooted, and then being able to go cuss about the coach up and down in the cafeteria. I mean,
bonding.
It's bonding because you now have that common enemy, right?
Sure.
Whether it's the workout, the coach,
Who's
whatever
the common
it is.
enemy here?
The workout, for
Oh,
sure.
good.
I thought he was going to say me or Leighton, the
I was trying to
coach.
figure out who that was.
No. The common enemy is the workout.
It is,
right?
every
'Cause
day.
everybody's looking at it, going,
Are we
"How
gonna
do I
get this?"
beat that thing? How do I beat it?"
That's good.
Yeah.
Jill, do you have any more to add to this conversation?
I just had a few questions, because Brandon has a lot of things that he likes and are noticeable. And I just had a few little off-the-cuff questions. Number one,
Sure.
Brandon, tell everybody, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
A lot. I definitely have a shoe problem. Marty would testify. I have half of our closet is dedicated to my shoes, and I love her for providing that to me. But yeah, I would say in excess of maybe 300 pairs now.
Is that not insane?
You did not just say
and not
300.
only that,
I did.
every
You
pair
didn't.
is
Yeah.
in impeccable shape.
So
I mean,
I do well. When you have that number, you can tend to wear them to the point that they don't wear out. So if you take care of them, I mean, we were kidding, but I do have a couple of pairs that are older than Alex.
Tell me this. What's your favorite pair?
Oh, boy.
I know. That's probably the hardest question of your life. But
so if I had to say the favorite style for me were Jordan 11s.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that even looks like, but I'll Google it.
So the Jordan 11, when how I got into it's a very long story, but anyway, I got into shoes at a relatively young age. I had an uncle that worked at a sporting goods store. We would make bets. I just got lucky and kept winning, and I kept stockpiling shoes.
Collecting.
And so Jordans were a big deal. Anyway,
still are.
The 11s, I couldn't get them. They were the first pair of Jordans that I remember as a child. Well, I was probably 17 or 18.
Child.
Yeah. That I could not get my hands on. They would just sell out before you could get them. There was no eBay. There was no secondary marketplace. Yeah. And for whatever reason.
It was Foot Locker or nothing.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I could go into the therapy sessions and what my therapist would say about why I covet those shoes.
Because you can't
have it. But it was for sure something I couldn't have. And so now I probably have 12 pairs of those.
Oh, wow. Of 11s. Of Jordan.
Different colorways.
Wow.
Josh Angel could tell you about them.
Yeah.
But different colorways. But I've got 2 or 3 pairs of 11s I've never even put on. And they've done nothing but skyrocket in price.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say to me specifically that maybe owns?
Wait a second. Do you remember he said he has shoes that are older than you?
Right.
I would like to just make that a point again.
Yeah, that's bonkers. That is barbaric.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
No, I'm just saying, what do you think about the people who, like me?
He wears Crocs. What do you think about that? I'm just kidding.
Not Crocs, but I'm saying I do wear them because I was doing yard work around the house.
And to the gym.
But I stopped because Joe made fun of me and made me cry myself to sleep each night. But that's a separate issue. We can talk about, bring my therapist on. Anyways, I probably own 3 or 4 pairs of shoes.
Sure.
And I wear them like these are my workout shoes, these are my work shoes, these are my dress shoes, and that's like, and that's
not your
it.
thing.
Right.
They're just not your thing.
Do you judge me for not having nicer shoes?
No judging. But I do remember, and you know, my grandfather was a product of the Depression, and so he always instilled in me, one, take care of your feet because they get you around. Mm-hmm. Like so that was always a big deal. And then 2, he always was like, you got to have good shoes because they'll last forever if you treat them well. And so,
that's good.
I mean, that guy, when he passed away, probably had 2 or 3 pairs of like Johnston and Murphy, like had been resold, like just like an old pair of blue jeans, that just fit perfect.
Get better over time.
And just get resold. And because I've definitely got dress shoes that I've resold 3 and 4 times. The leather's just good. Yeah.
Hunter has more shoes than I do.
Yeah.
See, I'm the complete opposite where I'm like, I should probably get rid of these basketball shorts I had in 8th grade. I'm 25. I'm like, I could probably.
You can still wear
so
them.
I've been the size since 8th grade.
Again, I definitely have a. I've got shorts. I've got T-shirts and hats. I mean, there's some things that I collect.
How big is this closet?
I'll send you a picture.
I was about to say, could we get a photo?
Yeah. Seriously.
I'd like to see how you even store 300
How
pairs
do you
of shoes.
choose which ones you're going to pick?
Choose just whatever I feel like.
Are all 300 just like on the shrine?
Brandon is always very matched. And I feel like your shoes are definitely
but shoes, I mean, again, with that many pair, you can usually come up with something that will match your T-shirt.
That's true. I don't even think I own 300 pairs of
socks.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Seriously, I was trying to think of. I don't think I do. That's
so. But to answer your question,
crazy.
Yes, some are out, some are scattered about, some are actually in like 50-gallon bins because we don't have enough room for all of them. I mean, we really don't.
You need a little museum.
Yeah.
Who do you will your shoes to when you die?
My son Knox is he's creeping up. So like he's 14 and he's
starting to try and put them on.
He wore a pair to their 8th grade formal a couple of Fridays ago. So yeah, he's got his eye on a couple of pair that he's just itching because he's right at about a 10.5. So as soon as he hits that 11
be
and a
all
half.
up in your bins.
Because I'm thinking like, okay, you have your house, which is like assets, your car, Brandon's shoes. You got to make sure they.
And now there's only about 5 or 6 pair that are really worth something. But yeah, I'm sure he'll want.
He'll want those.
Yeah,
shoe insurance.
Yeah,
gotta get
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
Jill, do you have anything else?
Also, he has amazing tattoos. Is it
you
just
do
the
amazing
one?
tattoos,
Is just the
but
one
man.
sleeve, or is there more than that?
I've got one on my rib, one on my neck, but the sleeve is definitely something that we're.
It's got a new addition. So if you're in the gym, come catch Brandon and see the new addition. It's amazing.
For sure. And one of our members, his son's doing it. So David Putnam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave Putnam, right up the road at Lake Point, is doing it. He's an amazing artist. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm gonna pull up a fun.
Oh boy.
Question or two to end us.
Okay.
Any last closing thoughts that you'd want to share with the CS&F community as far as anything?
I think for the community, keep doing what you're doing. I think you all, Hunter and Jill, and then Alex with the coach, it affords everybody an amazing community. I would say, lean into it as best you can. Get as much out of it as you can. And that's the thing, too, is there's always stuff here that is available if you'll take advantage. And I would encourage folks for sure to do that. And come in with very few expectations other than hey,
do your best.
Let's just do my best today.
I love that. Brandon, thank you so much for your time, getting to know you a little bit better. You're a key figure in our community.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Whether people know you or first hear you,
they know.
They know your presence here.
Yeah.
So just to shine the light on our members is such a value add to this podcast. So thank you so much again. Check out the Mental Advantage podcast as well if you want to dig deep into that.
Or come to the 5:30 and work out with Brandon.
Or come to the 5:30.
Sure.
Exactly. I have a couple questions that all of us are going to answer, and then we'll just kind of close this off.
Can it not be about history?
Jill's like, George Washington. She's like, that's all I know. Okay, first question. If there was a movie all about your life, which famous actor or actress is playing you?
Reese Witherspoon.
Jill always goes with that one.
I will go Ryan Reynolds.
I like it.
I could see that.
Green Lantern. I got it.
I could definitely see
or
that.
Deadpool.
I actually get it a lot. People
Yeah.
say
I could
it a
see
lot.
I can see it
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't, but it happened twice this past weekend.
I got Reese
No
Witherspoon
way.
at Dunkin'
Yeah, yeah.
Donuts last week.
No way.
Yeah,
Alex, why is that not believable?
yeah.
It is believable, but just the fact that some random stranger in public would be like, "Are you Reese Witherspoon?" I don't have the audacity to go up and go.
I had a guy or a young lady ask me. We were in a dark. And clearly, it had to have been dark. But
Well, you've got about 100 pounds of muscle on him.
well, but and so she came up and she goes, "Hey," she gave me the bill, and I'm paying it, and she's like looking at the card and looking at me and looking at the card, and she goes back and she comes back and said, "Hey, I wasn't expecting your name on this card," and I was like, "Huh?" And she was like, "I swear to God, I thought you were," and I was like, "No."
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and
That's
I was
a compliment.
I
It
guess
is.
I don't see it. I'd love to have his bank account, but I don't see it. But
I see it.
All right, pull out your phones right
Wait,
now.
who's yours?
I don't know. I don't watch movies.
Come on.
Seriously, I don't know a single actor. You need to
He's
tell me.
never seen Top Gun, by the way.
They're
What?
coming out with a new one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you need to see the
Weekend
original.
of Murph.
Yeah.
The Weekend of Murph. Okay, go to any text message and pull up your keyboard. What's the most used emoji
Ooh, God.
that you guys? It could
How do
be
you know that?
So you just pull up your
top
emojis.
left corner?
Top left corner.
Oh.
Which one's
Red
yours?
heart for me.
Just a red heart?
Uh-huh.
You just sending out heart emojis all the
Yeah,
time? Why do you think it's that one, Jill?
Because I got a lot of love for a lot of people.
That's good. Brandon, what's yours?
It's just a smiley face.
Just a normal
Yeah,
smiley
he's a happy
face.
guy.
I think I send more gifts than or GIFs, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
them.
I'm really surprised the
anything
middle
else.
finger isn't, in there because I send that one from time to time.
Mine is like the laughy, tilty head
The
one.
sideways
the
laughy.
sideways laughy one, just because I'm just so funny that
Yeah.
obviously I'm sending all the jokes. Okay, last one, guys. Let's see. I asked this in class probably about a month or two ago, and it's always interesting to see what people say. If I were to hand you $100 bill right now, you have to spend it before the day's over. What are you spending that $100 on? All of it. Brandon, I'll let you go first. What Jill thinks.
He can't get shoes with $100.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking sushi.
Yeah, food.
What?
A big steak.
A big old
I
steak.
literally thought food too.
I'd probably get like a tomahawk and
Oh,
just
yeah.
go to work.
Just go
Yeah.
to town on it.
Yes.
Jill,
I thought, it's probably over that for our family of 4 to go out. So
Yeah.
probably everybody
Just a
go
meal.
get some sushi.
Yeah.
Definitely sushi because we eat a lot of it. But
that's good. If I had to spend it right now, I would probably get probably another 50-pound dumbbell
okay.
for my garage gym. Because I only have one. I meant to get 2, and I only clicked one. I only
you
have
might
one.
be outside of your budget.
Or I was going to say maybe some shoelaces for those 3
I
shoes
thought he was
he's
gonna
got.
say new
yeah,
shoes.
just so he can hang on to them.
No, they're fine, guys. I have 3. Why would I need any more? I already have 2 more than I need.
Oh gosh.
But no, I got my other ones off Amazon for $80, and it was a 50-pound rubber dumbbell.
Okay.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for Amazon there.
We've done a lot of Amazon plugs.
We've done
today.
a lot of shameless plugs today. Brandon, thank you.
No, thank
Jill,
you.
thank you. I love conversations like this. It's fun. I think it inspired, encouraged multiple people. And we will see you on another episode of the FitCast. And until then, Jill, say it.
Be a legend.
You're a legend.
You're a legend.
See you guys.
See. Thank you for joining us today, friends. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and gained a greater understanding of the mission and vision of the CS&F community. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under Coming Strength and Fitness, or hit us up on comingstrengthandfitness.com. See you next time.